Hey, what's up, my construction entrepreneurs? Tyrone Jones here with the Construction Entrepreneur School and Services. Hey, so this is the one I want to tell you about. So we got a lot of people that call me that talk about getting into the trade and what they want to become and how much they want to make, and I think I love hearing all that. But getting into this, it's a lot harder, a lot more difficult, challenging than people think. Okay. Contracting and owning your own business is not for everybody. And I think a lot of people don't realize that until they get into it. And once they get into it, then they're like, oh, wow, I didn't know it was that. So you go from working 40 hours a week, starting out, you go from quitting your job, whatever your 9 to 5 is, getting paid every week there, to starting a new company and possibly working double those hours, 80 hours a week, including on weekends, and not getting paid on time, possibly, right? Because the owners are the last ones to get paid, especially if you got a new business starting out. You got more of an established business, then we're getting the company is paying us a check every week. Okay, I'm talking to the ones that are out there that don't have to where the company is paying them a paycheck every week, where you're building this, you're striving at it, and you're trying to put this thing together. Okay, but I get a lot of calls saying people want to be GCs. Oh, I want to be a GC. I want to run my own work. And well, let me say something about being a GC. Majority of the work, I want to say, hold on here. I want to say about 90% of the jobs I do are subcontract. I'm a subcontractor. Okay. About 90% of the jobs I do. Now I'm into the insurance work and doing a lot of insurance work, not dealing with concrete, doing insurance work, dealing with, water damage mitigation and recons. Okay. On those jobs, I'm being more of a GC on those jobs, but I'm also doing everything in-house as a GC, not so much subbing everything out. Okay. But being a GC versus being a subcontractor. Okay, for me, a GC holds a lot more liability than a subcontractor, especially and that's and it varies on that risk, on that percentage of risk, depending on the sector of work you're in. And what I mean by that is public works. Public works being a subcontractor versus a general contractor, I believe the risk is greater versus on regular residential work, being a general contractor versus being a general contractor to a subcontractor, a lot less risk there. I think in more cases than not. Okay. And the reason why I say that is on the residential side, you can probably find someone or replace that subcontractor a lot faster than you can on the public works side. On the public works side, you can't just get rid of a subcontractor. But at the same time, a subcontractor can give you a price. As long as they don't sign the contract, they can back away from it. Then you have to find someone to meet that price, no matter how old that price is. Usually that price, by the time you call that sub out, depending on what sub it is, that price could be 3 months to 6 months old. And you have to find someone to meet a 6-month-old price, or quote, or bid, whatever. And basically you have to pay that difference. If you didn't never get that sub to sign that job, you have to pay the difference as a GC. And I think a lot of people that say they want to be a GC really don't understand that. Another thing is, on the residential side, being a general contractor versus being a subcontractor, the GC, you find on the residential side, you find a lot less contracts being drawn up and signed. And then you can see a lot of subcontractors turn in inadequate pricing. So they fall off, they lose money, they tend to not show up and things like that. But I think the replacement options are a lot greater on the residential side than on the other side. Now, being a GC, you're left holding the bag when a sub flakes on you or don't show up or can't perform. You have to cover that cost. On the public works side, I believe it's a lot bit unfair, because as a sub, if I give a GC a price on the public works side, when it comes time for them to do the contract and I feel that I didn't do a good job on pricing, I don't have to sign that contract. And there's a lot of subs out here that, turned in a bid, that GC used their bid, listed that subcontractor, this is on public works, listed that subcontractor on the paperwork, expected that subcontractor to do that job based on the number that they gave. And then when it comes time, a month, 3 months later, hey, here's the contract. We're ready for you to start. That subcontractor was like, hey, I'm busy. Hey, I got no guys. Hey, I can't do it. And it could be for other reasons other than that. And they can say that. And literally, the GC has no recourse. You literally have to accept that and try to find someone to meet that price. Yeah. And that's the sucky part about it. On the residential side, I don't see a lot of contracts being signed. So if someone doesn't meet it, then you got another person really ready to go. Sometimes if the price was too low, then maybe not. On the residential side, maybe not. But either way it go, as a GC, you're left holding the bag. As a subcontractor, you have more ways to get out of it and leave the general contractor holding the bag, the prime contractor. So you got to be ready for that, everyone says, oh, I'll vet that GC or I'll vet that sub, and, but a lot of times it doesn't work out that easy. You can vet them all you want, just because a sub is doing good this month, that don't mean they're going to be doing good next month. So that month that you vet them, come the next quarter, they could be doing a lot worse than when you vetted them. So, it's a risk. Selecting to be a general contractor and not doing all your work, because there's general contractors out here that is doing all the work in-house, right? Self-performing. Those are good. You have more control over your work, being in that position, I think, versus hiring subs for all the trades, or just hiring tradesmen to do the work. Hiring subcontractors to do the work, not tradesmen. Just hiring subcontractors to do the work. So it can get a little tricky. So you have to be prepared for that. If you're going to decide, hey, you know what, I'm a GC, and this is what I want to do, and I want to hire subs and do some of the work in-house, you have to realize that risk. You have to realize that you're left holding the bag if someone fakes on you, if someone doesn't show up, if someone cannot perform, if someone runs out of money, someone bids it incorrectly, you're left holding the bag. And a lot of people really don't understand that until they're in that position where they literally have 5 jobs going on as a GC, and 2 of the jobs, maybe a framing contractor can't perform, or maybe a concrete guy on another job can't perform for whatever reason. You have a mess on your hands, and you have to find that replacement. And that may be a trade that you cannot necessarily do in-house. It may require you to make 5 or 6 moves to get someone in-house to be able to do that work, and have the knowledge to be able to do it where it doesn't cost you money. So that's what you have to understand, is that as a GC, I'm not saying it's bad to be a GC. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's not worth it being a GC. I'm not saying that, because there's plenty of GCs out here, obviously. I'm just saying you have to realize the risk, and you have to be able to handle that risk accordingly quickly, to where you don't make yourself look bad in front of the customer, in front of the client. You don't make yourself put yourself in a position where you're losing money because that sub flaked out on you. And you got to have the cost to be able to recover that. So as a GC, best thing is to get in the best position you can, hire qualified subcontractors, and have them sign contracts. That way they're legally bind to do that job. That's the way you have to play it. And that's the contracting game anyway. Get people under contract for their price that they say they're going to do the work. And that way you have a little bit more structure there and a little bit more pull, I would say, because contractually, the only way you can really go after a person if you do litigation, you know? I mean, you have to do some form of litigation to go after that sub, you know, some form of, whether it's contacting the board, whether it's, you know, sending letters or whatever it is, man. Some form of that you have to get. You have to do those due diligence to get movement. All right, guys, I'm gonna let you go with that. Let me know what you guys think about that. Would you rather stay a GC or become a GC, stay a sub, or change from a sub to a GC, or be a GC and change to a sub? Let me know. Let me know your thoughts on that, and let me know what your risks are, what risks you have been dealing with being a GC, and some of the complications that you face with subs out there. You know, because I'm a sub. Maybe I can learn a little something from the GCs out there. Let me know what you guys think. Till then, remember, hustle hard, then hustle harder, guys. Make sure you guys check out the new website. Like, subscribe, share. I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. I'm out.